I was staring at my wife's laptop screen, frozen in place, when I heard her car pull into the driveway. The notification had popped up 30 seconds ago while I was using her computer to print our daughter's permission slip. Just a preview of a text message synced to her iCloud. "Last night was incredible. When can I see you again? Missing you already." From someone named Gym Trainer. My hands were shaking as I opened the Messages app. 3 years. That's how long the conversation history went back. 3 years of my wife Ashley coordinating meetups, sending photos I'd never seen, planning elaborate lies about book clubs and girls' nights and yoga classes. The garage door groaned open beneath our bedroom. I grabbed my phone and started taking pictures of the screen, my finger jabbing frantically at the camera button. Screenshots of conversations, photos she'd sent him, hotel receipts she'd saved in her notes app for tax purposes that I now understood weren't for her supposed freelance writing gigs. "Tyler, you home?" Ashley's voice drifted up from downstairs. "Yeah, just printing something for Emma," I called back, my voice somehow steady despite the adrenaline coursing through my veins. I kept photographing. Messages about me. How I was always working. How I didn't understand her anymore. How she deserved to feel alive. Plans to meet at the Marriott on Highway 9. The same Marriott where I'd suggested we have our anniversary dinner last month, and she'd said she was sick of that place. Now I knew why. "I'm making dinner," Ashley shouted. "Come down when you're ready." I heard her humming in the kitchen. Actually humming. The same woman who'd kissed me goodbye this morning, who'd reminded me to pick up Emma from soccer practice, who'd looked me in the eyes last week and said she loved me when I'd asked if everything was okay between us. I'd asked because something had felt off for months. She'd been distant, always on her phone, finding reasons to be out of the house. When I'd voiced my concerns, she'd turned it around on me, said I was being paranoid and controlling, that I needed to trust her more. Trust her more. I photographed everything I could find, my photographer's eye automatically framing each shot for maximum clarity. 15 years as a commercial photographer had trained me to document everything perfectly, and that training was saving me now. Every message, every photo, every damning piece of evidence was being preserved in crystal clear 4K resolution. The messages painted a vivid picture. His name was Derek Paulson, and he wasn't just her gym trainer, he was also married. They'd met at the Fitness First on Maple Street where Ashley had been getting in shape for the past 3 years. Their affair had started almost immediately. What made my stomach turn wasn't just the betrayal, it was the planning, the calculated deception. She'd created an entire fake life. She'd told me she was taking a part-time writing job that required evening meetings, all fabricated. She'd said she needed me time on Saturday mornings. She was with him. She'd even brought Emma to some of their meetups, parking our 8-year-old daughter in the hotel lobby with an iPad while she went upstairs. That detail made my blood run cold. I found financial records next. She'd been using our joint credit card for the hotels, then categorizing them as business expenses in our budgeting app. I'd been too trusting to question it, too busy with my own photography business and being an active father to notice that my wife was literally charging her affair to our family account. 47 hotel visits in the past 18 months alone. At an average of $200 per visit, that was nearly $10,000 of our money spent on her betrayal. "Tyler, dinner's getting cold." "Coming." I closed the laptop, my phone now heavy with evidence in my pocket. I walked downstairs on autopilot. Ashley was plating pasta at the kitchen counter, her blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail, wearing the yoga pants she'd supposedly worn to her morning class. I wondered if she'd actually been at the gym or somewhere else entirely. "Where's Emma?" I asked. "Still at Madison's house, remember? The play date? I'm picking her up at 7. I didn't remember, but that didn't matter. What mattered was that we were alone, and I had a decision to make. Confront her now, or wait. Scream and rage, or play it cool. Burn everything down immediately, or be strategic. I thought about Emma. I thought about our house, our finances, our life. I thought about how family court worked in our state of North Carolina, how judges viewed infidelity, how custody battles played out. And I thought about Derek Paulson's wife, whoever she was, completely unaware that her husband was sleeping with my wife. "You okay?" Ashley asked, handing me a plate. "You look pale." I looked at her face, this woman I'd been married to for 10 years, and saw a stranger. The concerned expression, the slight furrow in her brow, the way she touched my arm. It was all performance. She was good at this. Really good. "Just a headache," I said, taking the plate. "Long day shooting the Patterson wedding venue." "You should rest after dinner," she said, kissing my cheek. The same cheek she'd kissed this morning before lying about where she was going. I sat down at our kitchen table and took a bite of pasta I couldn't taste. Ashley sat across from me, scrolling through her phone, probably texting him right now, and chattering about her day. And I smiled and nodded, because I'd already made my decision. I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. I was going to document everything, plan everything, and make sure that when this marriage ended, I'd have full custody of Emma and every asset we'd built together. I stood at the kitchen counter, phone in my pocket heavy with 3 years of documented betrayal, and watched my wife hum while she chopped vegetables for dinner. The normalcy of it made my skin crawl. "How was the Patterson wedding?" Ashley asked without looking up. "Long, bride's family drama." The lie came easier than I expected. "Got some good shots, though." "That's great, babe." She scraped diced tomatoes into a bowl. "Emma's at Madison's until 6. I was thinking we could have a quiet dinner. Just us?" "Just us." Like we were still a team. Like she hadn't spent the afternoon in a hotel room with Derek Paulson while I was working. "Sounds good." I pulled a beer from the fridge, needing something to do with my hands. "How was your day?" "Oh, errands, gym, the usual." She finally looked at me, smiling. "I'm beat, though. Might skip book club tomorrow." Book club. Right. I wondered if Derek Paulson knew about her fictional book club, or if she told him different lies. My phone buzzed. A text from my business partner, Jake. "Need you to cover the Reynolds shoot Saturday? Client requested you specifically." I typed back, "Can't. Family stuff. Sorry." I had different plans for Saturday. Ashley moved to the stove, and I pulled out my laptop at the kitchen table, opening it like I was checking emails. Instead, I navigated to a private browser and started researching. North Carolina was an equitable distribution state, not community property. That mattered. Fault could matter too. Adultery was still grounds for divorce here, and judges could consider it when dividing assets. More importantly, it could impact custody decisions, especially if I could prove Emma had been exposed to the affair. I found a family law firm's website. Brennan and Associates, rated highly, with a senior partner named Victoria Brennan who specialized in father's rights cases. Their consultation form was simple. I filled it out, requesting their earliest available appointment, and marked it urgent. "What are you working on?" Ashley appeared behind me with a glass of wine. I closed the browser tab smoothly, pulling up my actual email. "Client follow-ups. The Patterson family wants prints." She kissed the top of my head. "Always working." The casual affection made my stomach turn, but I kept my expression neutral. "Someone's got to pay for your yoga classes," she laughed. "Hey, that membership pays for itself in stress relief." I bet it did. My phone buzzed again, an automated reply from Brennan and Associates. "Thank you for contacting our office. Someone will reach out within 24 hours to schedule your consultation." 24 hours. I could maintain this act for 24 hours. "I'm going to grab Emma," I said, standing. "Be back in 20. Dinner won't be ready until 7 anyway." Ashley was back at the stove, completely at ease. I grabbed my keys and headed out, but I didn't drive to Madison's house. Not yet. Instead, I parked 2 blocks away and pulled out my phone, scrolling through the photos I'd taken of Ashley's messages. Derek Paulson. Fitness First on Maple Street. I pulled up the gym's website and found his profile easily. One of their featured trainers, with a professional headshot and a bio highlighting his personalized approach to fitness and wellness. He was younger than me, maybe 32, with the kind of build that came from making the gym your entire personality. His Instagram was public. I scrolled through posts of workout tips, protein shake recipes, and client transformations. Then I found what I was looking for, a photo from 2 months ago, tagged at a restaurant downtown. Derek had his arm around a brunette woman, caption reading, "Date night with my beautiful wife. Blessed, Yaka married life." Her profile was public too. Bethany Paulson, elementary school teacher, married 3 years. Her feed was full of classroom decorations, teacher memes, and couple photos with Derek. Recent posts showed them at a Hurricanes game, hiking Crowder's Mountain, celebrating their anniversary. She had no idea. I screenshotted several photos, including the anniversary post. Then I created a new email account, a generic Gmail with no identifying information. I didn't write anything yet, just saved it to drafts. Insurance, for later. My phone timer went off, the reminder I'd set to actually pick up Emma. I drove to Madison's house, forcing my face into something resembling normal. Emma bounced out to the car, backpack dragging. "Dad, Madison's mom said we can have a sleepover next weekend." "We'll see, sweetheart." I helped her buckle in. "How was your day?" She launched into an elaborate story about recess and someone named Connor who could do a backflip. I listened, making the right noises, but my mind was calculating. Next weekend. By next weekend, everything would be different. When we got home, Ashley had dinner on the table, pasta primavera, one of Emma's favorites. We sat down like a normal family. Emma chattered about school. Ashley asked about homework. I contributed when expected, playing my part. "Mom, can I do a sleepover at Madison's next weekend?" Emma asked between bites. Ashley glanced at me. "I don't see why not. We don't have anything planned, do we?" "Actually," I said carefully, "I might need to do a weekend shoot, out of town. Could be good timing." "Oh?" Ashley's interest was casual, but I caught the slight shift in her posture. "Where?" "Asheville. Wedding venue wants portfolio shots." The lie formed easily. "Might be overnight Saturday." I watched her process this. Overnight? Saturday. Her wheels were already turning, I could see it. "That's fine," she said. "Emma can have her sleepover, and I'll have a quiet night in." Right? Quiet night. Probably texting Derek the moment I was out the door, arranging their own plans. Perfect. After dinner, I helped Emma with homework while Ashley cleaned the kitchen. When Emma was settled in front of a movie, I retreated to our bedroom with my laptop, claiming I needed to edit photos. Instead, I opened a new document and started a timeline. Every hotel visit I could find in the credit card statements, cross-referenced with Ashley's calendar and text messages. The pattern was clear. Most meetups happened when I was working weekend events or evening shoots. She'd been strategic, using my work schedule against me. But there were others. Afternoon meetups when Emma should have been at school. I checked Emma's attendance record through the parent portal. Sure enough, several doctor's appointments and sick days that corresponded with hotel charges. My daughter had been pulled out of school so her mother could meet her lover. The rage that surged through me was white-hot, but I breathed through it. Emotion wouldn't help. Documentation would. I created a spreadsheet. Date, time, location, corresponding texts, credit card charges, Emma's whereabouts when known. Every piece of evidence organized, time-stamped, cross-referenced. My phone buzzed with an email. Victoria Brennan's office with an appointment slot. We have an opening tomorrow, Friday at 9 a.m. Please confirm if this works for your schedule. Tomorrow, Friday morning. I could tell Ashley I had an early client meeting. I confirmed the appointment. Tyler? Ashley appeared in the doorway. You coming to bed soon? I glanced at the clock. Almost 11. Yeah, just finishing up. She crossed to me, wrapping her arms around my shoulders from behind, chin resting on my head. Don't work too hard. Her touch made my skin crawl, but I reached up and patted her arm. Almost done. She kissed my temple and headed to the bathroom. I heard the shower start. I saved my spreadsheet to an encrypted cloud folder, cleared my browser history out of habit, and shut down the laptop. Then I sat there in the quiet, listening to the water run, and let myself feel it for just a moment. The betrayal, the disgust, the fury. 3 years. 3 years of lies, every single day. 3 years of I love you and how was your day, and family dinners while she planned her next meetup. 3 years of using our daughter as cover. The shower shut off. I stood, stripped down to boxers, and climbed into bed. When Ashley emerged, hair damp and smelling like her lavender body wash, she curled against me like always. Love you, she murmured. Love you too, I said. One more lie wouldn't hurt. I woke at 5:30 a.m., 2 hours before Ashley's alarm would go off. My body moved on autopilot. Shower, coffee, the same routine I'd followed for years. But everything felt different now. I watched the coffee drip into my mug and thought about how Ashley had stood in this exact spot yesterday, humming while she made dinner, fresh from another lie. The kitchen was dark except for the under-cabinet lights. I pulled up the budgeting app on my phone and started documenting every hotel charge again, this time taking screenshots with dates and amounts clearly visible. Victoria Brennan's consultation was at 9. I needed to be ready. Ashley appeared in the doorway at 7, blonde hair pulled into a messy bun, wearing one of my old t-shirts. She smiled at me, and I felt my stomach turn. You're up early, she said, reaching for a coffee mug. Patterson wants the final edits by noon. The lie came easily. Too easily. She kissed my cheek, and I forced myself not to pull away. Always working so hard. Emma needs to be at school by 8:15. I have yoga at 9:30. Yoga. Right. I checked her calendar on the shared iCloud while she was in the shower. Today's yoga class was actually blocked out for 2 hours, 9:30 to 11:30. I cross-referenced it with the hotel charges. Sure enough, 3 weeks ago, same day of the week, same time block. Marriott on Highway 9, 147.32s. The pattern was so clear I wondered how I'd missed it for 3 years. Emma bounced into the kitchen at 7:45, backpack already on her shoulders. Dad, can Madison come over after school on Friday? Sure, sweetheart. I poured her cereal, watching her swing her legs under the table. 8 years old. Ashley had been doing this since Emma was 5. Ashley drove Emma to school. I waited until her car pulled out of the driveway, then grabbed my laptop and the flash drive with all the evidence. The law office was downtown, tucked between a coffee shop and a real estate agency. I arrived 20 minutes early and sat in my truck, rehearsing what I'd say. Victoria Brennan's office was on the 3rd floor. The receptionist, a woman in her 50s with reading glasses on a chain, smiled warmly. Mr. Collins, Ms. Brennan is ready for you. Victoria was younger than I expected, maybe 40, with dark hair cut in a sharp bob and eyes that missed nothing. She shook my hand firmly and gestured to a chair across from her desk. Tell me what's going on, she said. I handed her the flash drive. My wife has been having an affair for 3 years. I found out yesterday. I haven't confronted her yet. Her eyebrows rose slightly. Smart. Let's see what you have. I walked her through everything. The text message, the iCloud photos, the hotel receipts, the coordinated calendar entries. She pulled up image after image, her expression neutral but focused. When she got to the photos of Emma sitting in hotel lobbies, her jaw tightened. She brought your daughter to these meetings? 47 times, based on the charges that match days Emma was supposed to be at playdates or early dismissal days. Victoria sat back in her chair. North Carolina is one of the few states where adultery still matters in divorce proceedings. This affects both equitable distribution and alimony. And the fact that she's been using marital funds and involving your daughter. She shook her head. How do you want to proceed? I want full custody of Emma. I want to protect my business assets. I'm a commercial photographer, sole proprietor, and I don't want to pay her a dime. Custody first, Victoria said. With this evidence, especially her bringing Emma to these hotels, we have a strong case for primary custody. The affair partner, Derek Paulson, he's married? Yes. Does his wife know? I don't think so. Victoria made a note. That could be useful. In terms of assets, North Carolina uses equitable distribution, not necessarily equal. Given her fault in the marriage breakdown and the misuse of marital funds, we can argue for a favorable division. Your photography business, is it incorporated? LLC, established 8 years ago, before Emma was born but after we were married. We'll need to protect that. Do you have a separate business account? Yes. She has access to our joint account and the credit cards, but not the business account. Good. Don't change anything yet. We don't want to tip her off. Victoria opened a legal pad. Here's what we're going to do. First, I'll file for divorce citing adultery. We'll request an emergency custody hearing based on her endangerment of Emma. Bringing a child to affair meetups is neglect, plain and simple. Second, we'll request a temporary restraining order on the joint accounts to prevent her from draining them once she's served. My hands were steady as I took notes. How long until we file? I can have the papers ready by tomorrow afternoon. But before we file, I need you to do a few things. First, open a new personal account in your name only. Transfer half the joint account balance into it. That's your legal share. Second, get copies of all financial statements, retirement accounts, investment accounts, everything. Third, do you have somewhere you can stay once she's served? I'm not leaving my house. The words came out harder than I intended. She's the one who blew up our marriage. She can leave. Victoria nodded. Understood. But be prepared. This is going to get ugly. She'll be angry, possibly vindictive. Document everything from this point forward. If she threatens you, record it. If she tries to turn Emma against you, document it. Do you understand? I'm a photographer. Documentation is what I do. She almost smiled. Then you're ahead of the game. One more thing, the affair partner's wife. Do you plan to tell her? I'd been thinking about that since yesterday. Bethany Paulson, whose name I'd found in Derek's social media profiles. Married 6 years, no kids. She posted photos of their dog, their weekend hikes, their anniversary dinners. She had no idea her husband spent Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at the Marriott on Highway 9. Yes, I said. She deserves to know. Be careful how you do it. We don't want it to look like harassment or interference. Do you have evidence that directly involves her husband? I pulled up one of the photos on my laptop, Ashley and Derek, clearly identifiable, in the hotel room mirror. His wedding ring was visible. Victoria studied it. That'll work. Send it anonymously if you want, or wait until after we file. Your choice. I thought about the timing. If Bethany found out now, Derek might warn Ashley. If I waited until after the papers were served, it wouldn't matter. I'll wait, I said. Victoria spent the next 30 minutes outlining the process: filing, service, temporary hearings, discovery, trial if necessary. She talked about custody evaluations, parenting plans, asset appraisals. My head spun with the details, but I forced myself to focus. One last question, I said as we wrapped up. What are the chances I get primary custody? Victoria looked at me directly. With this evidence? Strong, very strong. North Carolina courts prioritize the best interest of the child. A mother who repeatedly brought her 8-year-old daughter to hotels so she could meet her affair partner, who lied to teachers about early dismissals, who spent nearly $10,000 of family money on an affair, that's not acting in the child's best interest. Add in your stability, your involvement in Emma's life, your clean record, and we have a solid case. I stood, shaking her hand. File the papers. I'll have the financial documentation to you by tonight. Mr. Collins, Victoria said as I reached the door, you're doing the right thing, for yourself and for your daughter. I drove to the bank next. The account manager, a cheerful woman named Patricia, helped me open a new checking account. I transferred exactly half of the joint account balance, $23,947.50. Ashley wouldn't notice until she checked the account, which she rarely did. I handled the bills. Back in my truck, I pulled up the list of accounts I needed to document. Retirement accounts, Emma's college fund, the savings account we'd labeled emergency fund, but Ashley had apparently relabeled affair fund in her mind. My phone buzzed. Ashley. Done with yoga, grabbing lunch with Kelly, home by 2, love you. Kelly. I checked her calendar again. No lunch with Kelly scheduled. I opened the credit card app and waited. 15 minutes later, a charge appeared. Marriott on Highway 9, 14732. I took a screenshot. The bank statement arrived on a Thursday. I was sorting through the mail when I saw it. An envelope from First National, addressed to me. Strange, since Ashley usually handled most of our banking correspondence. I opened it without thinking, expecting maybe a promotional offer or account update. It was a credit card statement. For a card I didn't recognize. The account number meant nothing to me, but my name was listed as a joint account holder. Primary card holder, Ashley Collins. I scanned down the list of charges, my photographer's eye automatically cataloging details. Starbucks. Target. The usual stuff. Then I saw them. A series of identical transactions every month, like clockwork. Transfer to account. 392 rent. $850 job every single month. For the past 3 years. My hands went cold. I pulled out my phone and opened our banking app, the one that showed all our linked accounts. I'd never noticed this card before. Why would I? I trusted her to manage our finances. She was better with numbers, always had been. I scrolled through the account history, going back month after month. Rent. Always marked as rent. We owned our house. Had for 6 years. I sat down at the kitchen table, that familiar sensation of the floor dropping out from under me, washing over again. Different than the first time I discovered the affair, but just as devastating. This wasn't passion or weakness or whatever bullshit justification cheaters told themselves. This was financial planning. I grabbed my laptop and logged into our joint checking account, the main one we both used. Then I started cross-referencing dates. The rent transfers always happened on the first of the month. Like clockwork, professional, organized. My stomach turned as I realized what I was looking at. Ashley had been paying for an apartment for 3 years. An apartment I knew nothing about. I thought about all those hotel visits I documented. 47 times at the Marriott on Highway 9. But that was just one location, just the messages I'd found. What if the hotels weren't the whole story? What if they had somewhere else, somewhere more permanent? Somewhere she took Emma. The thought made my vision blur with rage. I forced myself to breathe, to think clearly. Getting angry wouldn't help. Documentation would. I photographed every page of the statement with my phone, making sure the lighting was perfect, every detail crystal clear. Then I logged into the credit card account using Ashley's email. I knew her passwords, had known them for years because we'd never had secrets. Or so I'd thought. The account opened easily. I navigated to statements and started downloading. 3 years of PDFs, each one showing that same monthly transfer. $850 every month for 36 months. $30,600. From our joint account. Money I'd earned shooting weddings and corporate events and product catalogs. Money that was supposed to go toward Emma's college fund, toward our retirement, toward our life together. Instead, it had paid for Ashley's love nest. I heard the garage door groan open downstairs. Ashley was home early. I closed the laptop and shoved the bank statement back into the envelope, my heart hammering. She couldn't know I'd seen this. Not yet. Victoria had been clear. The more evidence I gathered before filing, the stronger my case. I needed to find that apartment, needed proof of what she'd been using it for. Tyler. Ashley's voice floated up from the garage. You home? Yeah, I called back, forcing my voice to sound normal. Just finishing up some editing. I heard her footsteps on the stairs. Then she appeared in the kitchen doorway, yoga pants and ponytail, that same bright smile that had been lying to me for 3 years. How was your day? She asked, setting her gym bag on the counter. The gym bag. Right. She'd been at yoga again. Fine, I said. Finished the Patterson wedding photos. Client loved them. That's great, honey. She kissed my cheek, and I had to concentrate on not pulling away. I'm going to grab a shower. Emma's at Madison's until 5, right? Yeah, I'll pick her up. She headed toward the bedroom, humming something under her breath. So casual, so comfortable in her deception. I waited until I heard the shower running, then pulled out my phone and texted Victoria Brennan. Found something. She's been paying rent on an apartment for 3 years. $850 a month from our joint account. Need to locate the property. The response came back within minutes. That's significant. Do you have the account number she's been transferring to? I sent her a photo of the statement, highlighting the partial account number. I'll have my investigator trace it. This could be crucial for the financial discovery portion of the divorce. She's been misappropriating marital assets. I stared at the message. Misappropriating marital assets. Such clean legal language for what was essentially theft. Theft to fund an affair. Theft to maintain a secret life. Another text from Victoria. Don't confront her about this. We need to locate the property first and document what she's been using it for. Can you check her documents? Lease agreements? Keys? Anything that might give us an address? I glanced toward the bedroom. The shower was still running. Ashley always took long showers after the gym, or after whatever she'd actually been doing. I moved quietly to her home office, a small room off the living room where she kept her desk and filing cabinet. She'd never locked it before. Why would she? We were married. We trusted each other. The filing cabinet opened smoothly. I rifled through folders, utilities, insurance, Emma's school records. Then I found one labeled simply storage. Inside was a lease agreement. Oakmont Apartments, Unit 247. Monthly rent, $850. Leaseholder, Ashley Collins. Lease start date, 3 years and 2 months ago. Right around the time the affair started. I photographed every page, my hands shaking slightly. The lease listed it as a 1-bedroom unit. The address was across town, maybe 20 minutes away. Close enough to be convenient, far enough that we'd never accidentally run into anyone we knew. Smart, calculated, deliberate. The shower shut off. I closed the filing cabinet and moved back to the kitchen, pulling up a random photo gallery on my laptop like I'd been working the whole time. Ashley emerged 10 minutes later, hair damp, wearing jeans and a sweater. I'm thinking pasta for dinner. That work for you? Sure, I said. She started pulling ingredients from the pantry, moving around the kitchen with easy familiarity. Our kitchen, our home, our life that she'd been systematically dismantling for 3 years while smiling and asking about dinner plans. "Oh, I meant to tell you," she said, not looking at me as she filled a pot with water. "Kelly and I are thinking about doing a girls' weekend next month. Just a couple days, maybe down to Charleston. Would you be okay with Emma?" Kelly, her favorite alibi. I wondered if Kelly even existed, or if that was just another convenient fiction. "Yeah, that's fine," I said. "When were you thinking? Maybe the 15th? I'll let you know once we nail down the details." The 15th. I pulled up my calendar and made a note, though not for the reason she thought. By the 15th, if everything went according to Victoria's timeline, Ashley would already be served with divorce papers. There wouldn't be any girls' weekend. There wouldn't be any more lies. My phone buzzed. A text from Victoria. "Got the address from the lease photo you sent. My investigator will do surveillance tomorrow. We need to establish what she's using the apartment for and how often she's there." I typed back, "She just told me she's going out tomorrow afternoon. Yoga." "Perfect. We'll have someone positioned outside the building. If she meets him there, we'll document everything." I looked up at Ashley, watching her stir pasta sauce, humming again. So comfortable. So confident that her secret was safe. Tomorrow, I'd know exactly what she'd built with our money. Tomorrow, the last pieces would fall into place. And soon after that, everything she'd constructed would come crashing down. The call from Victoria came at 2:47 p.m. on Wednesday, 3 days after I'd found the lease agreement. "Tyler, we need to meet. Today, if possible." I was in my studio editing photos from a corporate event, but something in her tone made me save my work immediately. "I can be there in 40 minutes. "Good. You'll want to see this in person." The drive to her office felt longer than it was. My hands were steady on the wheel, but my mind kept cycling through possibilities. What had the investigator found? More evidence of Derek? Someone else? I thought I was prepared for anything, but the edge in Victoria's voice suggested I might be wrong. Her receptionist waved me straight through when I arrived. Victoria was standing by her desk, a laptop open in front of her. She didn't waste time with pleasantries. "The investigator followed Ashley to the apartment yesterday during her yoga class." She turned the laptop toward me. She wasn't alone. I stepped closer, looking at the screen. A series of time-stamped photographs showed Ashley's SUV pulling into the Oakmont Apartments parking lot at 10:23 a.m. The next photo showed her walking toward the building entrance, yoga mat conspicuously absent. Then a third vehicle entering the lot at 10:31 a.m., a silver Honda Accord. "That's not Derek's car," I said. "No." Victoria clicked to the next image. A man getting out of the Honda. Tall, dark hair, business casual clothing. Mid-40s, maybe. "Meet James Whitley, 43, married, 2 kids. Works as a regional sales manager for a medical supply company." The photos continued. Ashley opening the apartment door. James entering. The door closing. "How long?" I asked. "He left at 1:15 p.m., almost 3 hours. Victoria pulled up another window on her screen. The investigator ran his plates. James Whitley lives in Greensboro. That's an hour-and-a-half drive each way. I stared at the man's face in the photograph. Another stranger. Another married man driving across the state to meet my wife in a secret apartment I'd been paying for. "There's more," Victoria said quietly. She clicked through to a different folder. The investigator set up across the street with a telephoto lens. "These windows don't have curtains." The next images made my stomach turn. Not graphic, but clear enough. Shadows and silhouettes visible through the apartment windows. 2 figures. No ambiguity about what they were doing. "I'm sorry," Victoria said, "but you needed to see it." I nodded, not trusting my voice. "Tyler." She closed the laptop. This changes things. This isn't just an affair with Derek. This apartment is a dedicated space for multiple affairs. The financial implications alone. You've been funding what amounts to her personal brothel for 3 years. The word hit like a slap, but she wasn't wrong. We need to move faster, Victoria continued. I'm filing the divorce petition tomorrow. We'll include everything: the apartment, the hotel receipts, Derek, and now James. The investigator is going to maintain surveillance for the rest of the week to document patterns. If there are others, we need to know. Others. The word felt hollow in my mouth. It's possible. An apartment she visits 3 times a week, multiple men, 3 years of secrecy. This is systematic, Tyler. This is planned and deliberate. I sat down heavily in the chair across from her desk. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I'd still been holding onto a thread of, what? Hope that it wasn't as bad as it seemed? That maybe there was some explanation that would make it hurt less? That thread snapped. What about Emma? I asked. The evidence of Ashley bringing her to hotels with Derek is damning enough, but this apartment situation makes it worse. She's been maintaining a secret location specifically for extramarital affairs while using marital funds and lying to her family. No judge is going to look favorably on that when determining custody. Victoria sat down across from me. I know this is a lot, but we're in a strong position. Stronger than I initially thought, and I thought we were already in good shape. When do we tell her? The papers will be filed tomorrow. She'll be served Friday morning. I'm recommending you stay with a friend or family member Thursday night. When she's served, she's going to know you know everything. I don't want you in the house for her initial reaction. I thought about Ashley humming in the kitchen, kissing my cheek, asking about my day. 3 days ago, yesterday, this morning. My brother lives 20 minutes away, I said. I can stay there. Good. Pack a bag tomorrow, make it look casual if she asks. Tell her you're doing an overnight shoot or something. Victoria pulled out a legal pad. Now, we need to talk about the immediate aftermath. Once she's served, things are going to move quickly. We spent the next hour going over the timeline. Filing tomorrow. Service Friday morning. Temporary custody hearing scheduled for the following week. Financial injunctions to freeze the joint accounts. Restraining order preventing her from accessing my studio or business accounts. What about Derek's wife? I asked. And this James guy's wife? Victoria's expression was carefully neutral. That's your decision. It's not legally relevant to your divorce, but it's the right thing to do. I didn't say that. I'm your attorney, not your conscience. She paused. But if you do decide to inform them, wait until after Ashley is served. You don't want any chance of word getting back to her before Friday. I left her office at 4:30 p.m. with a folder full of documentation and a plan that felt both crystal clear and completely surreal. Stop at the grocery store. Pick up Emma from her friend's house at 5:30. Go home. Make dinner. Help with homework. Pretend everything was normal for 2 more days. The grocery store was crowded with after-work shoppers. I grabbed a cart and moved through the aisles on autopilot. Pasta, sauce, salad ingredients. Emma's favorite juice boxes. My phone buzzed. A text from Ashley. Can you grab milk? We're almost out. I stared at the message. Casual, domestic. The kind of text we'd exchanged 1,000 times over 10 years of marriage. Sure, I typed back. I added milk to the cart. Then I stood there in the dairy aisle, surrounded by strangers doing their normal shopping, living their normal lives, and felt the full weight of it settle over me. Not grief. Not yet. That would come later. This was something colder. The absolute certainty that the woman I'd married, the mother of my daughter, the person I'd trusted more than anyone in the world, was a stranger. Had been a stranger for 3 years. Maybe longer. How long had she been planning this? The apartment lease was 3 years old. But when had she started looking for it? How many men had there been? How many times had she kissed me goodbye, dropped Emma at school, and driven to Oakmont Apartments to meet someone whose name I didn't even know? My phone buzzed again. Thanks, babe. See you soon. Love you. I put the phone back in my pocket without responding. At 5:30, I pulled up to Madison's house to get Emma. She came running out with her backpack bouncing, all smiles and 8-year-old energy. Dad, Madison's mom said we can have a sleepover this weekend. Can I? Please? I helped her into the car, buckling her seatbelt. We'll see, sweetheart. I need to check the calendar. By this weekend, everything would be different. By this weekend, Ashley would know I knew. The divorce would be filed. Our lives would be splitting apart. But Emma didn't know that yet. For 2 more days, she got to be a kid who just wanted a sleepover with her friend. Okay, she said cheerfully, already moving on to her next thought. What's for dinner? Spaghetti. Yes, can I help make the meatballs? Absolutely. We drove home through late afternoon traffic. Emma chattered about her day, about Madison's new kitten, about something funny that happened at lunch. I made the appropriate responses, asked the right questions, smiled when I was supposed to smile, and all the while, I was counting down. 48 hours. The conference room at Victoria's office felt smaller on Tuesday afternoon. I'd brought everything: the new bank statements, the surveillance photos from the apartment, screenshots of the calendar pattern I'd mapped out showing Ashley's schedule with both Derek and James. Victoria spread the documents across the mahogany table like evidence at a crime scene, which, I supposed, it was. This changes things, she said, tapping the rental agreement I'd photographed. Significantly. I waited. She'd been reviewing the materials for 10 minutes, making notes on her legal pad in tight, precise handwriting. The apartment lease is in her name only, Victoria continued. Paid from the joint account without your knowledge or consent. In North Carolina, that's dissipation of marital assets. The court takes a very dim view of one spouse secretly spending joint funds for extramarital affairs. How dim? Dim enough that we can argue for reimbursement. $30,000 plus the hotel expenses, plus whatever else we uncover. The court can order her to pay you back from her share of the marital estate. I felt something loosen in my chest. Not relief exactly. More like vindication. There's more, Victoria said. The fact that there are multiple affair partners, that's relevant to the custody determination. It demonstrates a pattern of deception and poor judgment. Bringing Emma to these encounters, even if she wasn't aware of what was happening, shows a fundamental disregard for appropriate boundaries. She flipped through the surveillance photos. Ashley entering the apartment building. Ashley leaving 3 hours later. The timestamps I'd carefully documented. The judge will want to know if Emma was present during any of these visits. I don't think so, I said. These were all during school hours or soccer practice. The hotel visits were different. Those were weekends, times when she'd claim she was taking Emma to the Children's Museum or the park. Victoria made another note. We'll need to establish that pattern clearly. The hotel visits show child endangerment. The apartment visits show financial misconduct and serial adultery. Together, they paint a picture of someone who's been living a double life for years. She looked up at me. How are you holding up? I'm fine. Tyler. I met her eyes. I'm angry. I'm disgusted. But I'm functional. I need to be functional for Emma. Fair enough. She closed the folder. I'm filing the papers tomorrow instead of Thursday. The sooner we get this in motion, the better. You'll need to be prepared for Ashley's reaction when she's served Friday morning. I'll be at my brother's. Good. I'm also recommending we request a temporary custody order as part of the initial filing. Given the evidence of Ashley bringing Emma to hotels during her affairs, we can argue there's an immediate need to establish a protective custody arrangement. My throat tightened. You think they'll grant it? I think we have a compelling case. At minimum, we can request that Ashley's parenting time be supervised until the custody evaluation is complete. Supervised visitation. The phrase felt surreal. 3 days ago, Ashley had been my wife, my partner, Emma's mother. Now we were talking about supervised visitation. Do it, I said. That evening, I sat in my car outside Emma's soccer practice, watching her run drills with her team. She was laughing, ponytail bouncing, completely unaware that her entire world was about to implode. My phone buzzed. A text from Ashley. Running late. Can you grab Emma and start dinner? I'll be home by 7. I stared at the message. The casual presumption that I'd simply accommodate her schedule, no questions asked. The easy lie embedded in running late, because I knew exactly where she was. Tuesday afternoon, the apartment. James Whitley's silver Lexus would be parked 2 blocks away. Sure, I typed back. Another buzz. This one from Victoria. Papers filed. Server will be at your house Friday 8 a.m. Make sure you're not there. I deleted both messages and got out of the car. Emma chattered through dinner about a girl named Sophie who'd accidentally kicked the ball into the wrong goal during scrimmage. I made spaghetti, her favorite, and listened to her describe every detail of practice while my mind tracked the hours until Friday. Ashley arrived at 7:15, breezy and apologetic. Traffic was insane on Highway 9. She kissed my cheek. She smelled like unfamiliar cologne. How was your day? She asked, serving herself pasta. Busy. Edited the Patterson wedding photos. Sent them off to the couple. That's great, babe. She turned to Emma. How was practice, sweetie? Emma launched into the story about Sophie again. Ashley listened, asked questions, laughed at the right moments. The perfect mother. The perfect wife. I watched her performance with clinical detachment. 3 more days. Wednesday morning, I drove Emma to school and then headed to the bank. I'd scheduled an appointment with a financial advisor, someone Victoria had recommended. His name was Paul Jennings, and he specialized in asset protection during divorce. Your attorney sent over the preliminary documents, Paul said, settling behind his desk. Let's talk about what we're looking at. He pulled up a spreadsheet on his computer. Joint checking account, currently at $42,000 after your transfer of half the funds. Joint savings, $68,000. Your individual retirement account, about $200,000. Hers is at $90,000. The house is worth approximately $450,000, with $210,000 remaining on the mortgage. I nodded. I'd run these numbers myself a dozen times. Then we have the complicating factors, Paul continued. The secret apartment lease, the hotel expenses, the credit card charges. Your attorney is right. This is textual dissipation of marital assets. The court will likely order reimbursement, but we need to quantify the total. He turned the monitor toward me. I've started building a comprehensive accounting. Hotel charges going back 3 years, total $9,840. The apartment rent, $30,600. There are also charges to restaurants, florists, and what appears to be a jewelry store. Jewelry? Paul clicked through to another screen. 5 separate purchases at Brennan's Fine Jewelry over the past 2 years. Total of $6,300. I felt my jaw clench. Brennan's Fine Jewelry. I'd bought Ashley's engagement ring there, our anniversary gifts. Can you pull up the dates of those purchases? Paul scrolled through the records. March 15th 2 years ago, July 23rd the same year, November 2nd, then last year, February 10th and August 19th. I pulled out my phone and checked my calendar archive. March 15th was 2 days after Derek's birthday. I'd found it listed in Ashley's contacts. July 23rd was their 3-month anniversary based on the message timestamps. November 2nd was Derek's wife Bethany's birthday. She was buying him gifts, I said. And probably something for his wife to cover the guilt. Paul's expression didn't change. I'll add it to the accounting. We're now at approximately $46,700 in dissipated marital assets. All documented, all traceable. He printed out the spreadsheet and slid it across the desk. Your attorney will use this to argue for reimbursement. In a best-case scenario, Ashley's share of the marital estate gets reduced by this amount. Worst case, the court orders her to pay you back over time. What about my business? Your photography business is a sole proprietorship, correct? All equipment and client relationships in your name? Yes. Then it's your separate property, though any income generated during the marriage is marital. We'll need to establish a clear valuation, but given that it's service-based rather than asset-heavy, the court will likely award it to you entirely. I nodded. My cameras, my lenses, my reputation, all mine. Ashley had never shown interest in the business beyond spending the income. One more thing, Paul said. Your attorney mentioned you're seeking primary custody. If you're awarded that, you'll also be entitled to child support. North Carolina uses a worksheet calculation based on both parents' incomes and the custody arrangement. He pulled up another spreadsheet. Based on your income and Ashley's, she works part-time as a medical receptionist, correct? 20 hours a week. Right. If you're awarded primary physical custody with Ashley having supervised or standard visitation, you'd be entitled to approximately $800 per month in child support. $800. To help raise the daughter Ashley had dragged to hotel lobbies while she screwed her personal trainer. Factor that in, I said. Wednesday evening was Emma's school concert. She played recorder in the third grade ensemble, a squeaky rendition of Hot Cross Buns that made me smile despite everything. Ashley sat beside me in the auditorium, recording on her phone. She reached over and squeezed my hand during Emma's solo part. I let her hold it, feeling nothing. Afterward, we took Emma for ice cream. She got mint chocolate chip and told us about her upcoming field trip to the Science Museum. Ashley promised to chaperone. I'll have to check my schedule, I said. Ashley glanced at me. You never chaperone field trips. Maybe I should start. Something flickered across her face. Confusion, maybe suspicion. But Emma was talking again, and the moment passed. We drove home in Ashley's car, Emma chattering from the back seat. I watched the streetlights slide past and counted down the hours. 36 until the server knocked on our door. 36 until everything Ashley had built came crashing down. The server knocked on our door at 8:04 a.m. Friday morning. I wasn't there to see it. I was at my brother's house across town, drinking coffee in his kitchen while my phone sat silent on the counter. Victoria had been clear. Don't answer when Ashley calls. Don't respond to texts. Let her sit with it. The call came at 8:47 a.m., then another at 8:52. Then texts started flooding in. Tyler, what the hell is this? Call me right now. This is insane, you can't be serious. Call me. I watched the messages appear and disappear as I swiped them away. My brother Kevin stood by the window, coffee mug in hand. You okay? He asked. Yeah. I wasn't, but I would be. At 9:15, Victoria called. She's been served. Her attorney just contacted my office requesting an emergency meeting. I told them we're not negotiating until she's had time to review the full discovery. What happens now? Now she panics. Now she realizes how much evidence we have. Now her attorney explains exactly how bad this looks. Victoria paused. Tyler, she's going to try to contact you. She's going to apologize, make promises, maybe threaten you. Don't engage. Everything goes through me. Understood. I picked up Emma from school that afternoon. Ashley had been calling all day. 63 missed calls by 3 p.m. I'd blocked her number on Victoria's advice. Emma bounced into the car, oblivious. Where's Mom? She had some things to take care of. You're staying with me at Uncle Kevin's tonight. That okay? Yeah. Can we order pizza? Absolutely. That evening, while Emma and Kevin played video games in the living room, I sat in the guest bedroom and finally did what I'd been putting off. I opened a new email account and composed 2 messages. The first went to Bethany Paulson. I attached 3 photos, Ashley and Derek at the Marriott, time-stamped and dated. Derek's wedding ring clearly visible. I kept the message simple. Your husband has been having an affair with my wife for 3 years. I thought you deserved to know. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. The second went to a woman named Caroline Whitley in Greensboro, James's wife. Same approach, different photos. Ashley and James entering the apartment building. The timestamps showing 3-hour visits. I hit send on both before I could second-guess myself. The temporary custody hearing happened the following Thursday. Ashley showed up with her attorney, a sharp-dressed woman named Patricia Vance, who had a reputation for aggressive family law tactics. Ashley looked smaller somehow, her blonde hair pulled back, minimal makeup. She didn't look at me. Victoria presented our evidence methodically. The hotel receipts, the apartment lease, the surveillance photos, the testimony I'd given in deposition about Emma being present during some of the encounters. Patricia tried to minimize it. My client made mistakes in her marriage, but that doesn't make her an unfit mother. She's been Emma's primary caregiver for 8 years. She brought her 8-year-old daughter to hotels while conducting an extramarital affair, Victoria interrupted. She maintained a secret apartment for 3 years using marital funds. She lied repeatedly to teachers and school administrators about Emma's whereabouts. This isn't about mistakes. This is about a pattern of deception and poor judgment that directly impacted the child. The judge, a woman in her 60s named Susan Kowalski, reviewed the evidence with an expression that grew progressively colder. Ms. Vance, she said finally, I'm struggling to see how any of this behavior demonstrates appropriate parental judgment. Patricia tried again. Your Honor, my client is willing to attend counseling to demonstrate her commitment to co-parenting. I'm granting temporary primary physical custody to Mr. Collins, Judge Kowalski said. Ms. Collins will have supervised visitation, 2 hours twice per week, pending a full custody evaluation. We'll reconvene in 60 days. Ashley's face crumpled. She started crying, quiet sobs that shook her shoulders. Patricia put a hand on her arm. I felt nothing. The divorce took 11 months to finalize. During that time, Ashley's life systematically fell apart. Derek's wife, Bethany, filed for divorce 2 weeks after receiving my email. She'd apparently hired a forensic accountant who discovered Derek had been siphoning money from their joint account to pay for hotels and gifts. The divorce was ugly and public. Bethany made sure of that. Derek lost his job at Fitness First after Bethany sent copies of the evidence to the gym's corporate office. Sleeping with clients violated his employment contract. James Whitley's divorce was quieter, but no less devastating. Caroline took the kids and moved back to her parents' house in Virginia. James tried to contact Ashley afterward, but she'd blocked his number on her attorney's advice. The apartment lease was terminated. Ashley moved into a 1-bedroom rental across town, the only place she could afford on her part-time receptionist salary. The custody evaluation took 4 months. A court-appointed psychologist interviewed both of us, interviewed Emma, reviewed all the evidence. Her report was damning. Ms. Collins demonstrated a pattern of prioritizing her personal desires over her daughter's welfare and emotional security. Her deceptive behavior and poor judgment raise serious concerns about her ability to provide stable, appropriate parenting. The final custody order gave me primary physical custody. Ashley got every other weekend, unsupervised now, and 1 evening per week. No overnight visits until Emma was older. The financial settlement was exactly what Victoria had predicted. The house went to me. I bought out Ashley's equity at a reduced rate after the court factored in her dissipation of marital assets. She was ordered to reimburse me $46,700 for the apartment, hotels, and gifts. It would come out of her share of the retirement accounts and savings. My photography business remained entirely mine. Ashley was ordered to pay me $650 per month in child support. The day the divorce was finalized, I took Emma to her favorite restaurant. She ordered chicken fingers and talked about her upcoming science fair project. She was adjusting better than I'd feared. Kids were resilient like that. "Dad," she said, dipping a fry in ketchup, "are you happy?" I looked at my daughter. This smart, funny, beautiful kid who deserves so much better than what her mother had put her through. "Yeah, sweetheart, I am." And I meant it. 2 years later, I was loading camera equipment into my truck for a Saturday wedding when I saw her. Ashley was across the parking lot at the grocery store, loading bags into an older sedan I didn't recognize. She looked tired, older than she should have at 36. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She saw me at the same time. For a moment, we just stared at each other across 50 feet of asphalt. Then she looked away and got in her car. I watched her drive off and felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, no lingering pain. She was just someone I used to know, someone who'd made choices that destroyed her own life. Emma was thriving. She'd made the honor roll last semester. She'd joined the soccer travel team. She had friends, stability, a father who put her first. I'd started dating someone, a kind, straightforward woman named Rachel, who worked as a teacher and had no interest in games or deception. It was early, casual, but it felt healthy in a way I'd forgotten relationships could be. My business had grown. I'd hired an assistant and expanded into commercial real estate photography. The money was better than it had ever been during my marriage. I'd won. Not because I'd destroyed Ashley. She'd done that to herself. I'd won because I'd protected my daughter, protected my assets, and refused to let someone else's betrayal define my future. Sometimes people ask me if I regret how I handled it. If I wish I'd confronted Ashley immediately, given her a chance to explain, tried to work it out. The answer is simple. No. She'd had 3 years to tell me the truth. 3 years to stop, to choose her family, to be honest. Instead, she'd built an elaborate architecture of lies, funded by my work, enabled by my trust. You don't negotiate with someone like that. You document, you plan, and you protect yourself and the people who depend on you. That's not revenge. That's survival. Emma asked me once when she was older why her mom had made the choices she did. I told her the truth. I didn't know. People sometimes choose temporary pleasure over lasting happiness. They convince themselves they deserve something they haven't earned. They lie to others until they start believing their own lies. "But you didn't do that," Emma said. "No, I didn't." "Why not?" I thought about it. Because some things matter more than what I want in any given moment. You matter more. The truth matters more. Being someone you can trust matters more. She hugged me then, and I realized that this moment, this relationship with my daughter built on honesty and presence, this was what winning actually looked like. Not the custody agreement or the financial settlement or Ashley's diminished life. This. The final lesson, if there is one, is this. Trust is a gift, not an obligation. When someone proves they don't deserve it, believe them. Don't make excuses, don't rationalize, don't give endless second chances to someone who's shown you exactly who they are. Document everything. Protect yourself. Protect the people who depend on you. And when the dust settles, build something better than what was destroyed. I did. And I'd do it exactly the same way again.